I'm very happy to introduce the next talk by Sarah Fischer from the Gesellschaft für internationale Zusammenarbeit. We were working within the working group Cloud Infrastructure in the GovStack initiative, and she is head of the GovStack projects. And I'm very happy to have she here and to hand over to her.
Yes, hi everyone. My name is Sarah. I'm the project lead for GovStack. I work at GIZ, Gesellschaft für internationale Zusammenarbeit, which is the German development agency. So we're commissioned by the Federal Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development. And a few years ago, in 2020, we partnered up with some other initiatives with Estonia, with the ITU, the International Telecommunication Union, which is the UN agency for ICT, as well as the Digital Impact Alliance, with the aim to support governments in their journey to providing better digital government services to the citizens, because we saw also from a development perspective a major potential in, getting more people and citizens access social welfare services, but also getting actually IDs or, being able to make payments. We started that journey 4 years ago in that partnership. Since then, a lot has happened, and I'll tell a little bit more about that. But maybe to start off, I think why we also partnered up with SCS is we share, I think, some very core principles and values. Like everything we are doing as GovStack, we're also doing based on open standards. We really much focus on transparency and accountability. That's also main aim of the work we're doing. Of course, trying to build for sustainability as much as possible, and also are basing our work very much on a decentralized architecture and system in the end. Starting off, I guess you are all aware, but like the main challenges, right, that we saw also in a lot of partner countries, but I think that's, to be honest, the same here or in other contexts as well, is often like a lack of coordination more on a governmental level. Like ministries are developing their own digital solutions, services over and over again, the same as agencies. There is a lack of coordination, and this also leads usually from a government perspective in a lot of duplication and spending, because if you're developing the same services over and over again and don't build on what was there, this just means also that the money is not used in the best way possible. And while Germany is maybe in the luxury position that we can afford that in a way, some countries just are not, and there it's just even more important that you choose an approach that makes it easier for you to scale. So we set on a building block approach, which of course Estonia is very famous for, India is very famous for, right? Really providing the core components for digital architectures, and digital public infrastructures, so that you rather once invest in the core functionalities that are needed in every service. Again, you always need to, authenticate, register, say, hi, I'm Sarah, I want to make a payment. No matter really if you want to, get your birth certificate, renew your driver's license, or just purchase something on Amazon or whatever. In the end, it's always the same functionalities that you're using. A few countries did a very good job already in just really developing those core components and scaling them. And we thought, wouldn't it be nice to actually develop specifications for those core components as a global community, really building on what has been done around the globe already, but really trying to get an international group of people working and developing these specifications so that they can in the end be used for use cases across different sectors, really, from education to health or agriculture. So we did, and I think by now we have over 250 people working in our working groups and developed the first set of specifications. So we started with the very foundational ones that you see at the bottom that are kind of always needed: registration, payment, ID. Had another few waves that we published. They are all on Gitbook accessible, and are currently in the process of developing wallet and the cloud hosting specifications. And they have a very strong partnership with SCS. That is, of course, great because we always really need, good members of the working groups who do the work, who sit down and who write these specifications with us. And when we talk about building blocks, right, we really talk about the specifications at that point and not the software right away. But within the specifications, it is also important for us that they are built and described in a way that they describe reusable software components, that they are interoperable in the way, and that they can be used across different sectors in the end as well. Yes, Wave 4 comes out in September, so stay tuned. We will publish them hopefully soon. And of course, the work is never really done when you look at these specifications. It's versions that we're working on, and currently we're also reviewing again the ID building block and the architecture building block. So it never gets boring. Just to give you an idea what it looks like on Gitbook as well, those are the descriptions of the specifications. You can see, it's very small written, but it's just to give you an idea that we describe the requirements, the core functionalities, the APIs as well. So really try to give as much information as possible, but you can check them out if you go on govstack.global. And of course, we also are aware that the job is not done with just the specifications. So we understand in our conversations with partner countries, governments we're talking to, that it is already, specifications are already really helpful when you actually look at procurement processes. If you want to put out tenders, right, this can already take up some work, or away some work from you at least, and it gives you still the flexibility, of course, to adapt them to your local context, but at least, 60-70% maybe of the work is done already. But we also know that these specifications are only useful if in the end there's also products on the market that match these specifications ideally. So we developed a testing tool, which is also on our website, where software companies can run this test and also see how compliant they are with the specifications that we developed over the last years. And we, of course, also always invite companies, software providers to do that, because it's for us wonderful to have more companies visible, but we are actually in touch at the moment with a lot of governmental partners who are also really interested in who's out there. GovStack is actually quite a big initiative by now. So the specifications are really the core of what we're doing. The market I also just briefly talked about that you see on the right, but we also did develop a sandbox, a test environment, because we also said we just don't want to just write the specification. We also want to procure, based on specifications once, an actual digital government platform and build it. And we did that. And have a very cool test environment there that also helps us to work with governments on prototypes, etc. And last but not least, we developed a lot of trainings, e-learnings, and held also a lot of in-person trainings in countries. I rushed through a little bit because I know it's almost coffee break and everyone probably wants to get there. Maybe also another example how we cooperate with SCS, because that's potentially especially interesting in that specific context here. I mentioned already that we have great contribution for the specifications that we're developing at the moment on cloud infrastructure. We also have actually a cooperation in the context of the sandbox coming up, so that it's hosted on SCS. And we also have great support for some of the trainings that we're running, specifically at the Horn of Africa, Kenya, Djibouti, Somalia. And as soon as the specs are released, we hope that you will also run the compliance test, of course, and we can add you to our Gov market. And I think it's a great example on how these initiatives can also mutually benefit from each other. We can very much draw on the expertise of the community here, which is wonderful and always very much needed for the work that we're doing. And we hope that as GovStack, we can also provide a good entry point to a larger global market that we get a large demand at the moment from that we can't even cover at all. And where we are also very dependent on, all the expertise that is out here. And I close with just a brief map of, the activities that we're currently doing. Green ones, we're very active and really implementing things based on GovStack. The yellow ones, we're currently in finalizing, taking the last steps in finalizing of what we're doing exactly. But there it's all proper collaborations coming up as well. So, that's it from my side. Thank you so much. I'll be a bit around. So if you want to talk, let me know. We're always interested in, new experts for our working groups, in great solutions. So let me know if that's interesting to you. Thank you.